In this video, we are going to go back to the future and look at the WNBA 2025 draft. Now, it will have a few parts to it. First of all, we will look at who is lined up right now. If the lottery was held today, the most likely chance of winning the lottery. And then we will go through it and I will tell you who I believe will be selected in the lottery. Yes, I've taken your feedback on board. I will go 1 through 4. I will not work backwards. As well, I warn you, there might be a few surprises that many might not be happy with.
Oh, no! He had no business being out there! No business!
But as always, before we start, if you enjoy the content, then please consider subscribing to the channel. We're pushing for 10K. In addition, if you find the video worthy, then please give it a like. All right, let's get into this. Now, as of the 7th of July, here is where the tank wars stand in the WNBA. The Los Angeles Sparks have the top odds, then Washington again via way of Atlanta's pick, and then the Dallas Wings are sitting fourth due to all of their injuries. The Los Angeles Sparks fans have to be happy as they had a perfect loss to the Mercury the other night, as it was a close game, and more importantly, Rickea Jackson was really good, going for 22 points, but she was efficient, shooting just under 50% from the floor, but as well going 2 of 4 from the three-point line. And really, the mission is clear with Los Angeles and the Washington Mystics. Get as many ping pong balls as you can, as the team with the worst record over the last 2 years has a 44.2% chance of winning the lottery versus second, which has a 27.6% chance of winning the lottery. Now, the interesting thing with this is Washington holds Atlanta's pick they got that via trade from Dallas, who held Atlanta's pick from the Alicia Gray trade, and then Dallas traded that pick to Washington to get Stephanie Soares. So if the lottery was to happen today, then Atlanta would actually have a 45.4% chance of winning, as they would hold their own lottery balls and Atlanta's. Now, clearly, Atlanta's desperate to get out of the lottery, as there's nothing worse to be in the lottery and not having your pick. So once Ryan Howard gets healthy, are they going to be able to climb out? To be determined. I think looking at the standings, the line of demarcation in terms of going into the lottery would be Phoenix. It would seem unlikely, but a few injuries, you just never know. And then if you look at their 2-year record, they are 3-28. So if they go on a losing streak and all of a sudden tumble into the lottery, which I'm not saying would happen, but if they did, then that team, or who holds their swap rights, New York has the swap rights with Phoenix, they would have a good potential of getting the number 1 pick, which is amazing. The other one to keep your eye on is Indiana. If they decided, hey, we are just going to tank, we don't have quite enough, we want one more franchise player, and they decided to go full-on Rommel and we are going to win the tank war, then look at their record. Their 2-year cumulative record is .355, so if they went on a losing streak, which I know they won't do, but if they did, then they would be right in the thick of it for the top number 1 pick. The other scenario to be aware of, if Atlanta got their act together and started going on a win streak, and then it was Chicago and Dallas that fell off, and they wound up finishing with the 3rd and 4th record in the WNBA, then that would leave Dallas with a 28.2% chance of winning the lottery, as they hold the swap rights to Chicago's pick. Now, the last thing, we do not know at this stage how the WNBA will allocate Golden State, the expansion franchise, their pick. When the Atlanta Dream came into the WNBA as an expansion team in 2008, they were just allocated the 4th pick. There was a 6-team or 5-team lottery, and they basically gave the Atlanta Dream the 4th pick, but they were not included in the lottery or in the running to receive the number 1 pick. But it's still to be confirmed what the league will do on this. So without further ado, let's get into the draft. We are going to draft it, like I said, as per the current odds as they stand right now. So with the number 1 pick, the Los Angeles Sparks select Paige Bueckers from the University of Connecticut. This is a no-brainer, as LA needs stars and Paige Bueckers is a star. And even better, it works on paper as well, as Bueckers would pair with Rickea Jackson. And then in the front court, they would have Derica Hamby to pair with Cameron Brink, who would be returning from her ACL injury. And then you would figure they would try to re-sign or core Azurá Stevens. Now with the second pick, now remember Washington holds currently the second and third pick via Atlanta. So with the second pick, the Washington Mystics select Dominique Malangula, who is a 6'6" center from France. You will get a chance to watch her at the upcoming Olympics as she was just named on their team. She has good hands, looks great in the pick and roll as well. She runs the court well. Some have called her the WNBA version of Victor Wembanyama. Now, I haven't seen her shoot or have the range from outside, but man, she can move really well, has good post moves from what I've seen on the highlights. And I would suspect if she is willing to come over to the WNBA, that the Washington Mystics would choose her over Kiki Ariafen. The other thing I think is Kiki Ariafen's game and Aaliyah Edwards, they're just too similar. If you look at their shot charts, Edwards is slightly better than Ariafen at the rim and in the paint at 69% and 52% versus Ariafen that's 63 and 47%. But then Ariafen's better in the mid-range game at 47% versus Edwards, who shot 38% from the mid-range. So for that reason, I do think it will be Dominique with the number 2 pick. And then with the number 3 pick, I think it will be Anissa Morrow, the 6'1" forward from LSU. Now, if there is a concern about Morrow, it is her shot, as she only shot 46% from the floor. She does most of her damage at the rim, shooting 64% at the rim. And the question is, will she be as effective in the WNBA at the rim, only being 6'1" and trying to get the majority of her points inside? Now, an outside of the box pick here at number 3 for Washington. I'm just going to put it out there. If Azzi Fudd makes a good recovery from her knee injury and displays the form that she displayed in her freshman year, then I do think she is a chance at the number 3 pick. If you look at her shot chart from 21-22, she can score on all 3 levels, which WNBA teams love. Like from 3-point range, she was 43%, the mid-range 37%, and then at the basket 75%, and in the paint 56%. If she puts up stats at the second half of 25 like that, then I am sure WNBA teams will talk themselves into taking a chance on Azzi Fudd, telling themselves, hey, they were contact injuries, she's just had bad luck, it will work out for us, because that's what teams and coaches always do. And with the last pick in the lottery, I believe the Dallas Wings will take Kiki Ariafen, which will make up for them passing on Aaliyah Edwards in the 2024 draft. Again, I said it before in the last video, I think that was a mistake, as Natasha Howard and Satu Sabli will both be unrestricted free agents. And it would just be a good way to add, well, I thought Edwards would have been a good way to add youth and better salary cap flexibility going into 2025, but they get a redo in 2025 via the draft, and I think Kiki Ariafen, if she's still there, makes really good sense for Dallas. Now it's over to you. I'm sure you'll crush me on putting Azzi Fudd in the top 4 potentially, and for having Malanga at the number 2 pick to be determined. We will all see how this plays out. I'm currently considering doing a rating of each of the different positions, like the top 5 prospects at point guard, shooting guard, small forward, center, and power forward, and then my overall top 12. Let me know if that's a video you would like to see. All right, thanks again for watching. Have a good night.